Hello my dear students, here is Computer Wunsim, and today I will show you how to make animations in GIMP. GIMP has the interesting property to make animations just based on your layers. The more layers you have, the more animation frames you will have. And in our case we have just our beautiful rubber duck here. What we need to do now is use this rubber duck and make it into an animation by changing its color. Therefore, we just use our little rubber ducky friend and duplicate it. Now, by duplicating the layer, you can see there are two different ducks here. And now in our case, we go back to the colors example and we change the color of our little duck here. In our case, we open hue saturation, as you can see here. We change the value of the hue to 30. We can do this by double clicking on the value and then just write in 30, so we get this greenish duck here. Now, as you can see, the rubber duck is green. We can duplicate this layer again and change the color here. Again, hue saturation by 30, and now we get a more intense green. Now, we duplicate the layer here too. Just to make sure, always duplicate the newest layer in our rubber duck example. Increase it by 30. And as you can see, it's now even more greenish, but it goes a little bit into the blue part. Again, you can also click New from Visible, but duplicate layer does the same in this case. Again, hue saturation, increase by 30. And there it goes more into the blue part. Duplicate layer, colors, hue saturation, 30. Now we get into a very bluish rubber ducky. Duplicate layer, colors, hue saturation. The point is that the rubber duck here increases its value by some sort of circle shape. As you know, a circle has around 360 degrees. And if we change the hue saturation by 180, you can see that the rubber duck goes back to its original color. Here I can change it to 30. And then I again duplicate it and I go to the next one. This is a special property here of GIMP, that if you increase it always by 180, you'll get the inversion of the rubber duck here. This is something you also can use to make some other more flawless animations for the colors, but for the moment it is enough that we keep it here. Again, new from visible. You can make less pictures or more pictures depending on the part of 360 you're using. For instance, if you're using 12, you can make 30 pictures, and if you can do it into an animation, you can make a picture of 30 frames per second, which is, for instance, a typical range for the colors. As you can see, the rubber duck gets more orange, and now if I go to new from visible, hue saturation, you will see I increase it by 30, we will get back to our rubber ducky. I have now 13 pictures here, starting with the first picture and ending with the same picture again. I can select what picture I want to see by holding down the Shift key and clicking on a specific eye of the picture, or just always undo it, and then I get all pictures back. I want to make sure that all of these are seen, maybe the first one not necessarily, and then we need to export this as a new picture. As you can see, I already have some pictures. Here in this case, I changed I select the name rubber ducky, but here it is very important that you don't select PNG, but GIF. GIF is a format which only uses 256 colors, but is good for making animations. As soon as you click export, you can see that there is a new window which has opened. And in our case, we go to GIF options, and then we click on as animation. There you can change the properties of the specific picture if you want. And as soon as you are finished, you can just export the picture. Now, as you can see, the picture here isn't anyhow changed. However, there are two pictures. There is our original rubber duck, which has a German name, but that's not so important. But if I click our GIF rubber ducky, you can see that our animations just work flawlessly. You are also capable of making animations which look like moving pictures. Therefore, I will press open. Now I select the bears. And as you can see, there is this bears picture, and we are also capable of making animations based on the movement of any picture. Now, as you can see, I have selected the lowest layer, I copy it, and I paste it. Now I get the yellow rubber duck here, and now I make it to a new layer. As you can see, there is this little problem with the background, but using the fuzzy select tool and clicking on the background and pressing del or the German E and TF, you can just delete the background as much as you want. Now we need again to select everything, select all, or by pressing Ctrl A, and now we just need to copy it again for later usage. As you can see, the layer here is pasted. The second part, what we need to do is use the bears image and again duplicate the layer. As you can see, it's called bears.png copy, and now we need to select the upper ducky and connect it to the other layer by pressing merge down. As you can see, there are only two layers now, but this is correct because there's a problem because the image which will be converted to an animation only takes the specific layers here, not the background. What we need to do is technically the same like before. Right mouse button. Here it is important to duplicate the layer and then move it up here so that the rubber duck disappears again. And then we press Ctrl V or insert. So Ctrl C by using the rubber ducky, and then Ctrl V by inserting it. And then, as you can see, you have the floating selection again. We can now anchor the layer. Now you can see that it has only 3 layers. That's the amazing property of the floating selection here. You can just anchor a layer as much as you want. Now I will repeat the procedure again. I've duplicated the layer, insert the rubber duck, and put it here. And anchor layer. Again, duplicate layer of the bears. Make sure that you always select the lowest layer. Then anchor layer, and it's done. And duplicate layer. Duplicate layer is duplicated. Add the rubber ducky and add it in. Anchor layer. Now we are as soon as finished. We have already some layers, so we can make an animation out of it. If you want to make it more seamlessly, you should use more pictures. It also will increase the quality of your GIF file. We call it bears.gif, or no, GIF, sorry. There's always a battle between GIF and GIF, but I like to use GIF. It's sometimes out of necessity that I don't use GIF or GIF. But that's fair. As you can see, there are already the GIF options as animation is already marked. And now we need to export it. So there you can see there is the rubber ducky again. There are bears.gif, there are bears.png. And as you can see, bears.png looks totally normal, but bears.gif has the moving rubber duck. I hope you enjoyed my little course here, and I can't wait to see you animating the most amazing things possible your computer wants.